right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the noon briefing. For those who may not know me, my name is Stephanie TREMBLAY, and I'm one of the associate spokespersons here in the office. Let me start today with an update on the Secretary General's travel. So the Secretary General is in Denmark today, where tomorrow he will chair the meeting of the Chief Executives Board of the United Nations, which, as you know, brings together the heads of the UN system. Earlier today, the Secretary General met with Mette Frederiksen, the Prime Minister of Denmark. The Secretary General expressed his appreciation for Denmark's steadfast cooperation with and support for the United Nations, including for its role as host of UN agencies, as well as its constructive role as a non-permanent member of the Security Council. Prior to meeting the Prime Minister, the Secretary General toured UN City, which is the UN compound in Copenhagen that houses United Nations offices in the Danish capital. During a town hall meeting, the Secretary General congratulated the staff for the work they are doing this evening. He and the heads of the United Nations system will be attending a welcome dinner hosted by the King and Queen of Denmark. Now, moving on to the situation in Yemen, I can tell you that we welcome the announcement made by the Sultanate of Oman regarding an agreement between the United States and the Houthis in Yemen on 6 May, yesterday, and commend Oman for its efforts in this regard. We have consistently called for restraint and de-escalation in and around Yemen and the wider region. We also have called for an immediate cessation of Houthi attacks against merchant and commercial vessels in line with relevant Security Council resolutions. We reaffirm the need for all to respect the rights and obligations relating to maritime navigation in accordance with international law. We remain committed to supporting the Yemeni parties to reach a negotiated political settlement to end the conflict. We encourage all parties to engage constructively with our Special Envoy, Hans Grunberg, to this end. Now moving on to Sudan. We expect to have a little bit more on Sudan later today, but I can tell you right now that the Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Tom Fletcher, expressed deep concern over the ongoing drone strikes in Port Sudan, which, as you know, is a hub for our humanitarian operations and a key entry point for aid. Mr. Fletcher stressed that international humanitarian law must be respected and that constant care must be taken to spare civilians and civilian infrastructure. Flights of the UN Humanitarian Air Service, better known as UNHAS, to and from Port Sudan have been suspended since May 4th. The World Food Programme, which manages UNHAS, says it will resume air operations as soon as conditions allow. These disruptions are impacting the movement of humanitarian personnel into Sudan and onward to other parts of the country, which is further straining the delivery of urgently needed assistance. Meanwhile, OCHA reports that drone attacks have also affected the states of Kassala and River Nile. Earlier this week in Kassala, strikes near the airport displaced about 2,900 people and led to the temporary suspension or relocation of some aid activities. Meanwhile, River Nile State is still facing a power blackout following a drone strike on the transformer station in Adbara on April 25th. The outage is contributing to growing fuel and bread shortages and long queues at petrol stations and bakeries. Turning to the situation in Gaza, our colleagues from the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs warn that the situation there is growing worse by the day. Yet, we and our partners are committed to staying and delivering to help alleviate the suffering of the people exhausted by many months of fighting. Attacks on schools sheltering displaced people continue to be reported, leading to casualties. Yesterday in Deir al-Balah, an UNRWA school in Al-Bureij camp was hit twice in several hours, with dozens of people reportedly killed, including women and children. Another school in Gaza City, sheltering displaced people was also struck yesterday, with reports that 20 people were killed. Across Gaza, community kitchens serving hot meals continue to shut down as they use up their last remaining supplies. As of yesterday, 1 in every 3 community kitchens supported by the UN and our partners in Gaza has closed. That is more than 60 kitchens closed out of nearly 180 in just a matter of days. Our colleagues on the ground report that adults are prioritizing their children over themselves when they do manage to find some sustenance. On a related note, our colleagues working to prevent malnutrition are reporting that there are no more malnutrition prevention supplements left in stock in Gaza. While some malnutrition treatment stocks remain, these will also be depleted soon unless the crossings reopen for the entry of cargo. On education, our partners have been analyzing satellite imagery to determine the extent of damage to school structures across Gaza. Their initial results indicate that over 95% of school buildings have sustained at least some level of damage. Meanwhile, the water, sanitation, and hygiene situation is increasingly bleak. A new report by partners found that last month, 90% of families they assessed were facing water insecurity, forcing difficult choices between essential needs such as cooking and washing their hands. Over 3/4 of families reported a worsening water situation amid a decrease in both water quantity and water collection points, and as displacement orders drive a growing number of people to seek shelter at overcrowded sites. The UN and our partners stand ready to distribute assistance at scale as soon as the crossings reopen for the entry of cargo. More than 240,000 metric tons of supplies are ready to be dispatched from warehouses outside Gaza. That is in addition to the large quantities of supplies already waiting at the crossings themselves to enter the Strip. OCHA also stresses the need for authorities to facilitate humanitarian movements inside Gaza. Today, 3/4 of the UN's requests were denied. That is 6 out of 8. Half of the denied requests were to retrieve critical supplies from militarized areas. Now, moving to Ukraine, our colleagues at the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs tell us that airstrikes yesterday and today resulted in further civilian casualties across the country. The latest attacks in the cities of Sumy, Zaporizhia, and Kyiv killed 6 civilians and injured nearly 30 others, including 10 children, and damaged homes, according to local authorities. Nearly 40 additional casualties, as well as damage to civilian infrastructure, were reported in frontline regions. The hostilities there damaged multiple residential buildings, electricity networks, and agricultural assets. After the overnight attacks, aid organizations provided emergency support and set up response centers to complement the efforts of first responders and local authorities. They deployed emergency teams to the affected sites to assess people's needs. Several local NGOs are registering impacted people for cash assistance. Aid organizations and local authorities also continued to support evacuees from border communities at the transit center in Sumy City. Nearly 500 residents were evacuated from the border area in just the last day. The transit center provides temporary shelter for new arrivals, as well as food, hygiene products, and other basic necessities, in addition to administrative, social, medical, and psychological support. Now, from Haiti, switching continent, our colleagues at OCHA are mobilizing assistance for people displaced by deadly violence in the Artibonite department late last month. OCHA led a humanitarian mission there yesterday to assess needs and to coordinate response efforts. The International Organization for Migration, for its part, reports that nearly 13,000 people were forced to flee their homes due to armed attacks in the commune of Petite Rivière de l'Artibonite. Most of the displaced people are sheltering with host families, while others are staying at displacement sites, including nearly a dozen that have opened in response to the crisis. However, ongoing insecurity forced 4 other sites hosting nearly 500 people to close. Gangs have also reportedly attacked police installations and damaged agricultural infrastructure. Meanwhile, OCHA is leading efforts to coordinate the humanitarian response in Haiti's Center Department, where displaced people urgently need shelter, food, water, healthcare, and education assistance, as we've mentioned in the past few days. Insecurity and severe funding shortfalls continue to hamper access and response efforts, particularly in southern areas. Security incidents have been reported along 2 national roads that are vital arteries for aid delivery. OCHA is engaging with all parties to ensure safe and sustained access for humanitarians to reach people in need in Haiti wherever they are. And I just want to flag that this afternoon, Security Council members are scheduled to discuss the 90-day report on the work of the 1718 Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, Sanctions Committee. This will take place in closed consultations. For our part, Assistant Secretary General for the Middle East, Asia, and the Pacific, Mohamed Khaled Kiari, will brief. And yesterday, we mentioned the Science, Technology, and Innovation Forum Action Day. And today is the start of the Multi-Stakeholder Forum on Science, Technology, and Innovation for the Sustainable Development Goals. For 2 days, the forum brings together scientists, innovators, academia, civil society, private sector, and young people to discuss the power of science, technology, and innovation to accelerate progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. From mental health platforms for refugees in Turkey to biodegradable sanitary products tackling period poverty in Kenya, 10 outstanding innovators from around the globe will also join this year's forum to demonstrate their solutions and how science, technology, and innovation are driving tangible impacts across the SDGs. The forum will also focus on the SDGs under review at this year's high-level political forum, namely the SDGs on good health and well-being, gender equality, decent work, and economic growth, life below water, and partnership. And these are the notes that I have for you today. Let's open for question, and something tells me that there will be a few. Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Nasser Qayyum, and I'm from 92 News Pakistan. And I wonder, like when your opening remarks, you just forgot about the 2 nuclear rivals clash yesterday, Pakistan and India. And this is just, I don't know. But my question is, after the unfortunate Pahalgam incident, Pakistan condemned and offered United Nations, and Secretary General himself said that they are willing to make a commission to probe who was behind this attack. But yesterday, India attacked Pakistan. Everybody knows, 30 people dead and counting, countless, damage, both sides. I'm not sure about the Indian side, what kind of human loss they had. And before that, unilaterally, India did the, violated the Indus Water Treaty and, stopped the water of Pakistan. Do you think so? This is the high time for a Secretary General to intervene and issue of Jammu and Kashmir, which is the core issue causing these incidents, dangerous incident between 2 rivals.
Yeah, okay.
And they are nuclear rival, by the way.
So you saw, I'm assuming that you saw the note in response to questions that we sent out last night. So we received questions yesterday on the situation between India and Pakistan, and I can tell you once again today, and I'm sure you saw the Secretary General himself here on Monday, I can tell you that the Secretary General is very concerned about the situation there. He calls for maximum military restraint from both countries. And as he stated earlier and restated yesterday, the world cannot afford a military confrontation between India and Pakistan. Yes.
My question.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
I mean, my questions remain the same. The core issue, and according to the UN resolutions,
Yeah.
the Jammu and Kashmir core issue, if it is not resolved, this is going to happen every 3 or 4 years. I mean, what is Secretary General thinking about this issue?
So the SG offered his good offices to both governments in the service of peace, and he said that himself on Monday. The UN stands ready to support any initiative that promotes de-escalation, that promotes diplomacy, and a renewed commitment to peace. This is what I can tell you today about this. Yes, go ahead.
Have UNSG contacted, like yesterday or recently, to the Indian or Pakistani leaders in light of a new round of escalation?
So we mentioned contacts a few days ago, and when there's more contacts to report to you, we will do it immediately. Yes. Oh, then at the back, and then you.
Yeah, thank you so much. A quick follow-up on India-Pakistan. Are there any UN personnel in the areas that were affected by strikes overnight?
So we checked this morning with our DPO colleagues, with our peacekeeping colleagues who are posted there. They said everybody was accounted for and that everybody was safe. Yes, let me go, and then let me go around the room. So please go ahead.
Sorry, going to divert this topic a little bit. Chinese President Xi Jinping is visiting Russia this week, and he will also attend the 80th anniversary of the Soviet victory in the Second World War. And we know this morning the UNGA is also marking the 80 years since the end of the war. So how does the UN see Xi's visit and the timing?
I think, any visit that encourages dialogue between nations is something that we highly welcome. And of course, the end of World War II is a moment that deserves to be marked with great appreciation. Yes, I can go back to you, then I'll go to this side of the room. Yeah, you can go ahead.
My question is about the UN. How can you say in certainty that no UN casualties or any other casualty? Because the UNMOGEP, on the Pakistan side, they are operating. But on the Indian side, they're banned by India.
So
the UNMOGEP.
but we asked them.
But
No, UN casualties
they should allow UNMOGEP to be on their side of the part.
Let me be very clear about what I said. I talked about UNMOGEP staff, UNMOGEP personnel. So we checked with our colleagues in peacekeeping, and they said everybody was accounted for and everybody was safe and sound. So this is what I have, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Pamela, I think you had a question, and then I'll go to...
Yes, just if from the Secretariat or the UN has met with the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff on the Gaza aid program and on U.S.-Iran, and especially would there be any meetings since he apparently is in New York today?
So in New York today, I know that the Secretary General, who is not here, is not meeting with him, but the information that I have is that our colleagues on the ground have met with him in the past. And today I don't have any additional information. Let me find out, just in case.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. The Association Press reported on Tuesday that Trump plans to announce that Washington will refer to the Persian Gulf as the Arabian Gulf during this trip to Saudi Arabia. And what's Secretary General's reaction to this?
I think we will continue to refer to these areas the way that we normally do. Yes, go ahead, Benno.
Thank you so much. So the new German Interior Minister just announced that Germany will tighten border controls and make immigration stricter, and in the future, for example, it will be allowed to also deny asylum seekers to access the country. This just happened just a few minutes ago, so I don't know if you have a comment right now, but I would appreciate one during today, that would be great.
Yeah, let me check.
Just-
But you know the general principle on asylum and on all of on immigration that we've been referring to. But let me check on your specific
would be
question
great.
because that's a very recent development that I
Yes,
had not
exactly.
seen.
Thank you.
All right, but we'll get back to you, Benno. Stefano.
Thank you. Two questions. One is, what do you know about Witkoff, the special envoy of President Trump, meeting the Security Council today, closed-door meeting, and if he had contact directly with, the Secretary General office before this meeting?
No, I don't have information about his whereabouts. I think the Security Council would be in a much better position to answer about their own meetings.
Well, because he's going to accordingly, we think, some media think that he's going to explain to the Security Council the plan to make, helps and food getting to Gaza, but it's something that already the UN agency had refused because it says it's against the humanitarian. So I wonder if the Trump administration contacted the Secretary General to explain also to him the plan.
At this point, I don't have information about specific contacts. If there's anything to report on that, we will let you know.
Okay, then second question is about Secretary General trip to Copenhagen. He's meeting, of course, the leadership of the country, and I wonder if during those meetings he will talk about the situation with Greenland and if he has a plan that he wants to tell that government in case the United States continues to try to, I don't know how to say, if he invade
Here's
or
what I can tell you about that. As I mentioned in the note, the Secretary General had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Denmark today. That meeting actually ended just a short while ago. I can tell you that the issue of Greenland was raised by Danish authorities during that meeting. The Secretary General reiterated his support for the Charter and, of course, what is in the Charter regarding the respect for territorial integrity, sovereignty, and also he reiterated the right of people to self-determination. Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm Camelia Intakhabi Fard. I would like to know if Secretary General...
Can you speak just a little bit louder?
Sure. Is it better now?
I think it's a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know if the Secretary General is in touch with Steve Witkoff over the talks between the U.S. and Iran in Oman, and also about the Houthis deal with the Americans. Thank you.
So that question in a slightly different variation was raised before. So when there's something to report about the Secretary General's contact, we will let you know. But as I said, our colleagues on the ground have been in touch with him.
In both issues?
I'll get back to you on the specific issue of Iran, but I know that on the other issues regarding Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, the answer is a definite yes. Sorry?
The Houthis deal with the Americans over the ceasefire.
Yes. Did you hear the note? Oh, I had a full note about that that I read at the beginning of the briefing. Yes, please go ahead.
Christian convent run by Carmelite nuns and also a school. Do you have any reaction to that, please?
Sorry, I could not hear the beginning. Hold on, I think hold on, your microphone doesn't seem to be turning on.
The Pakistanis shelled a Christian convent of Carmelite nuns in Poonch in Kashmir. Do you have any reaction to that, please? And also they attacked a school.
I don't have specific information about specific locations, but again, we continue to call for maximum military restraint from both countries. And as the SG said on numerous occasions, and I can repeat it today, he said that the world really cannot afford a military confrontation between India and Pakistan.
As an attack on a religious institution of a minority?
I do not have specific confirmation of this, so I'm going to stick to just what I said right now. Do we have other questions? Let's see. Yes, Evelyn.
Something totally different. OSHA had a very chilling report on the West Bank. Did I miss that or in the briefing?
We did not have that today in the briefing, but let's see what we can get to you maybe tomorrow if it was missed today. You say it was published today? No, the report was published today? Let me check with my OCHA colleagues what it is exactly. Okay, so let me check with colleagues at OCHA because they send us every day extensive notes on Gaza and on OPT. So. All right, very good. Well, if there are no more questions, thank you so much, everybody, and have a good afternoon. Thank you so much. And Benno, you let me look into this because yeah.